It's your boy Charles. Charles on there as well, just checking in. Hope you guys having a good evening. We are getting ready to delve into another book audio reaction. Let's go ahead and play it, and I'm gonna come back with my reaction. Appreciate it, guys.
Sizzle with aggressive percussion, while the rugged scratching on Size Ain't Shit added a rough texture to Bushwick Bill's threats. The ominous horns and guitar on Mind of a Lunatic accentuated the tortured rhymes of Bushwick Bill, Scarface, and Willie D. As Grip It on That Other Level gained traction in the South and Midwest, through influential mom-and-pop retailers, it also earned an important fan. Producer Rick Rubin became enamored with the album. Rubin had partnered with Russell Simmons for Def Jam Recordings, which the pair launched from Rubin's New York University dorm room in 1984. During the next several years, Rubin produced material from many of rap's biggest artists, including Run DMC, LL Cool J, and Beastie Boys. After establishing himself as a premier producer and rock and rap talent scout, Rubin left Def Jam in 1988 over creative differences, moved to Los Angeles, and launched his Def American recordings with major label Geffen Records. Rubin worked out a deal with Jay Prince to make the newly rechristened group, the Ghetto Boys, the first rap faction at Rubin's new company. Given that Grip It on That Other Level had only been distributed independently through Jay Prince channels, Rubin and Jay Prince decided to revamp the album rather than record an entirely new project. Rubin kept 10 Grip It on That Other Level songs for what would be the Ghetto Boys album. He had the Ghetto Boys rewrite and re-record some of their verses and change the music on some of the tracks. They also dropped the songs Seek and Destroy and No Sellout from the album, while adding Fuck 'Em, which opened the album in spectacularly controversial fashion, taking aim at people who doubted the group's staying power or their willingness to push lyrical boundaries. In short, they targeted anyone they thought was against their kind of rap. The real challenge, though, came with Mind of a Lunatic, which had gone from ending Grip It on That Other Level to prime placement as track 3 on the Ghetto Boys. The song also became more gruesome thanks to reworked lyrics into new, more menacing deliveries from Bushwick Bill, Scarface, and Willie D. Bushwick Bill was now virtually screaming his verses, making his new lyrics all the more frightening. She begged me not to kill her. I gave her a rose, then slit her throat and watched her shake till her eyes closed. Had sex with the corpse before I left her, and drew my name on the wall like Helter Skelter. The new lyrics evoked the image of the Manson family's crime and murder spree in the 60s, in which leader Charles Manson envisioned an impending apocalypse he called Helter Skelter. The name came from the title of a popular song by the Beatles and referred to a child's slide on a playground. During their murder spree, members of the Manson family also used their victims' blood to write words and images, including Helter Skelter on the walls. Scarface's lyrics had also taken on a more sinister dimension. I sit alone in my four-cornered room staring at candles, dreaming of the people I've dismantled. I close my eyes and in the circle appears the images of sons of bitches that I murdered. It was so fucking out there, DJ Quick said. Scarface's words? He sounded like a real funeral home curator. In defending his lyrics, Bushwick Bill said that the Ghetto Boys material was based on actual events and other forms of entertainment. This is the reality I've seen on the news and around me growing up. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Freddy Krueger, Bushwick Bill said. When I turn on the TV, there's always someone getting raped, someone getting killed. This new form of reality rap had a major champion in Rubin. and with the type of trailblazing rap he coveted releasing, Ruben was planning on making a grand reintroduction to the rap world with the Ghetto Boys. But after hearing the album and facing pushback when a Terre Haute, Indiana-based digital audio disc corporation, which was contracted to make the CD version of the Ghetto Boys, refused to manufacture the album because of its content, Geffen Records executives declined to release the Ghetto Boys and terminated their manufacturing and distribution deal with Ruben's Def American Recordings. Geffen Records released a statement about its decision that was printed in the New York Times. While it is not imperative that lyrical expressions of even our own Geffen artists reflect the personal values of Geffen Records, the extent to which the Ghetto Boys album glamorizes and possibly endorses violence, racism, and misogyny compels us to encourage Def American to select a distributor with a greater affinity for this musical expression. Scarface found the move in the label's position perplexing, given the success Geffen was having with X-rated comic Andrew Dice Clay, a Def American artist, no less, and rock group Guns N' Roses. The former cursed ad nauseum, while the latter was fronted by politically incorrect singer Axl Rose, who lamented about immigrants and faggots on his group's song, 1 in a Million. Axl Rose was running around singing about all of the heroin and easy pussy he was getting, chasing death in the alleys of Los Angeles, and somehow that was okay. Scarface said, but those same stories told from our perspective were somehow a problem. Ruben, though, understood why Geffen executives declined to release the project. I don't think some people at Geffen like the record very much, and I can understand why, he said. I don't think it's unreasonable for anyone not to like it. Nonetheless, Ruben was able to find an outlet for the Ghetto Boys. Eventually released in 1990 by Rap-A-Lot Records in conjunction with Rick Rubin's Def American Recordings and WEA Manufacturing, whose parent company, Warner Brothers, also owned Geffen at the time, ironically. The album came with a sticker on the cover with the following warning: Def American Recordings is opposed to censorship. Our manufacturer and distributor, however, do not condone or endorse the content of this recording, which they find violent, sexist, racist, and indecent. Scarface said Geffen's trepidation was about more than the content of the work. If you ask me, Geffen just didn't want to see a bunch of niggas make some real money. Make you think about all of the shit that we went through just trying to find a place to put our music. It's hard not to see that shit as what I really think it was. Active discrimination. We were entertainers just like the rest of them. But when two Dodge City, Kansas teens were charged with killing a man in 1990, their defense placed blame on the Ghetto Boys. The teens' lawyer claimed that the kids were temporarily hypnotized by the Ghetto Boys songs, just as the Beatles had come under scrutiny because of the Manson family's appropriation of their Helter Skelter song. And rock group Judas Priest had been sued in 1985 after two men entered a suicide pact and shot themselves after getting intoxicated and listening to the band's Stained Class album. A rap group now found themselves on trial for what their music purportedly encouraged their listeners to do. The jury in the Ghetto Boys case didn't accept the defense, but the Parents Music Resource Center, PMRC, blasted the rappers for music it deemed inappropriate. Perhaps in part due to the media firestorm surrounding the Ghetto Boys, it failed to go gold, selling fewer than 500,000 copies. The Ghetto Boys' next album, though, would be the group's most successful. It also arrived the year the gangster rap exploded in popularity, thanks to a series of high-profile albums and movies.
For more of these fascinating stories and true crimes, subscribe to Charles Arnis World. Thanks for watching.
substance abuse was unchecked. "I was a young man completely out of control," he said. One night in mid-November 1989, he was filming a pair of videos in East Los Angeles, Beautiful but Deadly and The Formula. In the latter, Easy and Dre hold rapper tryouts with wannabes with names like MC Mallet and New Kids in the Hood. But Dre isn't satisfied until, in a haze, he imagines crafting his perfect rapper in the lab, DOC. Filming 2 videos at the same time was a long, arduous process. DOC drank and smoked weed practically all day, running on fumes that night when he finally got into his car to make the long drive to his Agoura Hills home, westbound on the 101. He fell asleep, and his car spun out, throwing him through the back window. His car collided with a tree. Once the medics arrived, they couldn't sedate him because they didn't know what drugs he had in his system, he said. Still intoxicated, he fought back as they tried to insert a breathing tube, scarring his larynx. DOC was taken to Kaiser Hospital and then Cedars-Sinai. His hospital bills came to more than $60,000, Jerry Heller wrote, which Easy paid for out of his own pocket. DOC would make a full recovery, but for one very serious problem.
For more of these fascinating stories and true crimes, subscribe to Charles Arnis World. Thanks for watching.
"So," Dre responded. "Never mind then." Gold nowadays can't recall the occasion when Dre initially used the term, but it first appeared in print on March 25, 1989, when Los Angeles Times pop music critic Robert Hilburn described an NWA concert in Anaheim. Ice-T, who helped popularize the LA gangster rap image, was the
For more of these fascinating stories and true crimes, subscribe to Charles Arnis World. Thanks for watching.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy Charles in his world, just checking in. So what do y'all think about that book, man? Pretty interesting, huh? Crazy, man. Interesting story. Listen, go ahead and leave your comments and subscribe to Charles in his world. Appreciate it.